back to the NADA show. We are live on the floor here at the Quantum 5 booth. The people that are helping us put on all of our live content today, they are the first ever sustainable training tech. They're actually a tech platform in automotive. We really thank them for putting out such great content and also supporting us as we get this live to you, coming to you live from the floor. Paul, I'm telling you what, the energy is amped in here.
We just walked through the main hall or the main thoroughfare at lunchtime, and we were like, the whole place took like 3 steps up from what it was this morning. You know, first day, not everyone feels like they need to get on the floor right away, but it is very, very full, very, very crowded. If you could see what we've had to do to actually make this live stream happen, you would be impressed.
Yes.
Or annoyed, depending on whether or not you're trying to walk through. We were fortunate enough to grab a couple dealers. Charles, why don't you come on in? You might remember this name, Charles McCann with Reed Family Enterprises
Hey, look at this
in the great
guy.
state. So for ASOTUCon, we featured a charity that your dealer principal started.
Yes, sir. Light Up to Live Foundation, helping soldiers out coming back from PTSD and TBI, traumatic brain injuries, providing light therapy systems and service dogs for disabled veterans.
So tell the people a little bit about your role in the company and what the group is like overall.
Well, I've grown up in the group, so I've done a lot of roles in between. Currently, I'm VP Operations, so I try to make sure our dealerships are getting what they need and doing what they're supposed to. Group's doing really well. Obviously, everybody's doing pretty good gross profit-wise, but our main thing is trying to just become efficient and stay ahead of the game because it's moving fast right now, and yeah, you gotta change.
Well, speaking of it moving fast, thinking like outside the NADA show, right? Because everyone's here right now and you're kind of in the energy of it. But there are a lot of serious challenges in 2023. From your standpoint, what are the 1 or 2 challenges that you and your group are focused most on right now?
The 100% biggest challenge right now is the unknowns of everything. Everybody knows inventory is a big thing, but at the same time, it's like, is it going to go back up? Is it not? Is it going to stay the same? The roles with EVs and the tax incentives, and of course, you have to worry about supply. Supply is the biggest problem right now.
Still can't control it.
No. So what we're trying to do is just make sure that we are as lean and mean as possible going into things and trying to have a smooth game plan for transitioning into the EV future, because it's coming whether we like it or not. It's just a matter of how smoothly that transition is going to be. So.
All right, last question. If there is one mistake that you want to avoid making this year, what mistake do you want to avoid? Make you think.
Oh, yeah. Like betting on the wrong horse, I guess you would say.
What do you mean by that?
One of the back of mind questions I have with the whole EV is batteries and also hydrogen. Lithium obviously is a huge part of the batteries right now, but we know lithium's a very short supply. I know there's different chemicals, battery compositions. I'm just wondering if that's going to be a different issue than hydrogen. I mean, it's not going away, it's been around forever, and I'm still thinking it might have some role to play, especially in commercial, which I think is going to be a big part of the future.
Interesting take, but we love your hat on top of it.
Got to represent where
when someone's
I go.
rocking the ASOTU hat, you know you're getting pulled into the live stream.
Well,
thank you so much for spending a few minutes with us.
Thanks for having
Have a
me.
great show.
And we will be seeing you guys
We'll
in
see
Baltimore
you 13 times.
2023.
Yeah, that's right. He's already ready for
All right.
Baltimore.
He's repping Baltimore.
In case you didn't know, last week of September, circle your calendar. We're having ASOTUCon in Baltimore. 3 times the size it was last year, at least.
Yeah.
First, and he'll be the second.
That's right. Oh, yeah, he's got the bracelet on.
I love it.
Thank you so
Oh,
much.
yeah.
Have a great show.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have a great
Thanks,
show.
Charles.
Yeah, bud.
All right, we found a couple other deals, but I just want to note there, like, I haven't heard that comment, the betting on the wrong horse.
No.
I'm guessing more dealers are actually asking their OEM, their manufacturers. You know, we got a lot of make meetings happening. The Toyota make meeting just ended, and I'm sure there are a lot just wondering, like, hey, are we fully betting on that, and how much do we need to be preparing for that or preparing for the possibility of it not working? That's a big question on these dealers' minds.
And not a lot of people. It's interesting that he said it, because usually when one person says it, you know there's a dozen people with the same thing in their mind. He's the one that said it.
That's really good. Well, speaking of EVs, stop segue time. We've got a really another really fun
Pretty
and
special,
interesting, special thing. We've got John Foley. John Foley's going to join us. A lot of people may know John Foley from his time in the dealership world with some large auto groups, as well as hanging out with car lots for a little while and that engagement. but John's been working on a really cool new adventure, and he's testing out. Maybe we can do a poll for the logo later, right?
There we go.
So really working on a really interesting new concept that actually has been on Paul and my heart as well for a long time. Talk a little bit about the concept of how bringing the used EV market closer to the consumer is a real passion of yours.
Yeah, for sure. So I think we're all aware, tons of, as we call it, the tsunami of inventory, EV inventory that's going to come to the used car market here over the next couple of years. And we've also heard very clearly from buyers that the buying experience, the selling experience for an EV is different than an ICE vehicle. And so really want to cater to that buyer, that seller, and frankly to dealers as well, and become, the education center for EVs in the used marketplace. So really excited to get that launched later this year. So
yeah, when you say education center for EVs, there are. I mean, you could probably look around and there's EV conversations everywhere, but it's a big ask to move consumers and dealers from this internal combustion that we've known for 100 years into a whole new ecosystem. What are some of the questions that you see consumers and dealers asking right now that we should be the first to answer?
I think that a lot of the information is fragmented right now, so I've got to go to different places to learn about battery life or degradation and so on. And so if I can pull all of that together and help a buyer or a seller, and again, even a dealer, understand, some dealers may want to participate in the EV market and others might not be ready yet. But they might need answers, as we've all talk to dealers who are trying to navigate, trade-ins and management of that inventory, and want to be a resource for them as well. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So if you were an encouragement to, if you were going to say in 2023, in preparation for more customers walking in your door asking these questions, obviously you're going to get your thing going up both from a retail and education side, but how would you be encouraging dealers or dealers that to tiptoe or walk into the space with their teams?
Sure. Number one is listen to the buyers, listen to the people and what they're looking for. The things that I hear most often are very similar to the new car experience, and it's education and it's affordability. So show me how to buy and own this vehicle, and make it make sense for me, and then I'm prepared to move forward. So focus on those things, but listen to the people. They'll tell you what to do. So
I love that. Well,
yeah.
John, thanks for hanging out with us.
Great to see you
Congrats
guys.
on getting this thing going.
Yeah.
We can't wait to see what you do.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it, John.
Yep.
So that was really interesting contrast.
Yeah, right.
From Charles's last comment, are we betting on the right horse, to John, who's saying, regardless of what horse wins the race, we know we're going to have a lot of used EVs coming in the market. So it's almost like an already and not yet. We don't know if it's going to happen or if it's going to happen long term, but what dealers are great at is saying, well, we know what this is going to happen in the short term, so let's squeeze every bit of juice that we can out of that fruit while we have it.
Yeah, I think a theme, we've done probably 15 dealer interviews this morning alone, and I got to interview, and we'll put this content out at some point, but I got to interview a group from Hawaii. And these two gentlemen have been with the group for 30 years. But they just stated, hey, remember, we've been through ups and downs. We've been through changes. Don't forget that, even though this change is a new change to the type of change that it is, it's still something that, as auto dealers, as an industry, we've always approached change with an opportunistic attitude.
Always.
And so if you approach those things like that, get your teams to approach things like that, I have no doubt that we're going to see a lot of success over the next 5 years.
I mean, that's just the spirit and the energy of the automotive industry. It is alive and well on this show floor. We have a lot more to come today alone, and then tomorrow, and then actually a little bit on Sunday as well.
Yeah.
So stay tuned on the content. You can go to ASOTU, NADA.com to see the full production schedule. And we also are kind of summarizing the day's news and keeping up with the regular ongoings of the auto industry, because it hasn't stopped, on our email, which you can get for free at ASOTU.com. Thanks for spending some time with us on the floor. You're at home. Likely you're taking care of the customers on the front lines. So we're really excited that you're doing that. So we're trying to bring you as much as we can from here, so you don't have to feel like you missed anything. I guess.